Halo semuanya, selamat datang kembali di channel ini ya. Baiklah, kita melanjutkan kembali gameplay dari The Council. Di rekapi gameplay sebelumnya kita sudah menyelesaikan episode kedua ya, dimana itu masih banyak misteri ya. Dari yang penting banyak misteri ya, dari perspektif dari orang-orangnya tersebut masih memiliki agenda-agenda tersembunyi, dan kita masih belum bisa menemukan ibu kita. Yang terakhir kita berada di sebuah ruang bawah tanah ya, seperti itu. Kalau lebih lengkapnya kalian bisa cek playlistku sebelumnya, linknya di deskripsi, untuk playlist game The Council, atau kalian bisa cek di channelku untuk game-game yang sudah dimainkan. Oke, baiklah, kita akan lanjutkan. Oke, di save pertama. Oke, terakhir The Conclave, play. Alright, seharusnya ya kan, ini episode ke-3, partnya ke-8.
Why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed
Iya
to
kan,
everything.
setiap individu ini memiliki agenda-agenda tersendiri. Masih banyak misteri sekali. Apalagi termasuk proyek besarnya si Dr. Mortimer ya. Oh ya, itu saudara kembarnya, Emily dan Emma.
Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where
Sudah
you
berkumpul
are,
juga.
please.
Oke. Pakai buku untuk selanjutnya ya. Aku pakai buku ini menambah semua skill. Oke, kemudian lumayan siapa nih? Science Linguistic Erudition. Ke logic sama itu linguistik, ini juga linguistik. Ini nggak bisa, ini sudah aku pakai. Ya sudah. Oke, itu aja yang bisa aku temukan. Oke, ini dia episode ketiga. Oh ya, aku baru ingat terakhir ini ya, kita menemukan mayat pelayan servannya The Council, episode 3 Rivals. Yang kedua itu hide and seek ya. Yang pertama aku lupa ya, kalian bisa cek ya, link deskripsi.
Louis, the conference is about to
Presiden
start any minute. This is not the time to be.
Washington George.
Damn it! What's going on?
I don't know exactly, Mr. President. I was looking for my mother and I came upon this body.
My God, you don't think Sarah did it, do you?
Protect her reputation. Iyalah ibu kita.
Mr. President, you really shouldn't get involved. Please be on your way. I'll take care of this.
Masih ada 4 honey royal jelly.
Didn't see anything.
Itu skill pointnya.
It's for the best. If Sarah did that, I don't know what kind of hornet's nest she's kicked open, but I do wish you luck, my friend.
Oke. Kita harus protek reputasi ibu kita ya.
Time is of the essence.
Karena ibu kita kemungkinan petinggi atau ketuanya Golden Order ya.
Everyone will be expecting you.
Mr. President,
Okay.
this is not really the right time and I didn't come for that.
Your mother's seat cannot remain vacant. You must replace her while she's still missing.
Aduh.
Your mother and I were to support Mortimer on this project. I don't know what the subject is, but the future of our countries depends on it. Given the importance of all this to Mortimer, he won't let the conference begin without you. So if you don't want more servants coming looking for you, I'd advise you to join us quickly and to put a brave face on it. The best favor you can do for yourself, Louis, and for Sarah, is to come and support Mortimer's project at the conference.
Ini aja deh, dan
Look, I don't mind following you, but I should warn you. I have no idea what this
karena
is all
kita
about.
tidak tahu apa-apa ya,
Make any promises as to what I
belum
might
dikasih
do.
tahu ibu kita
I shall
juga.
make my decision after the debate when the time comes.
Oke.
Very well. As you wish.
Soalnya kita harus
You will
jujur ya,
see once you hear everything.
keadaan kita itu gimana ya.
But given the situation, I think you will have everything to gain
Nggak boleh
by joining
apa-apa.
Mortimer's
Serahkan
side.
padaku.
I'm going. Don't be
Sotoy
long.
kali.
Tell them that I'm on my way.
Soalnya kita tidak tahu apa-apa ya, benar sih. Oke, sekarang kita harus mengecek dulu sebelum kita cari petunjuk ya. Apa ini? Organon. Nggak tahu apa itu. Tentang apa ini?
Someone's made a fire here, and the ashes are still warm.
Oh,
If you're the
akan
one who
buat
did it,
api.
Mother, it couldn't have been easy with only one hand.
Oh,
I must have just missed her.
coba.
If only I hadn't wasted so much time getting out of Lord Mortimer's study.
Terus apa lagi?
Leftover food. Not exactly fresh. Must have been here for a while.
Oh, jangan bilang ibu kita selama ini bersembunyi di sini ya.
An old blanket. From the looks of it, it couldn't have kept her very warm.
Oke. Ashes, kemudian ini
Well, the gate is locked.
terkunci. Baiklah, dan apa itu? Camille Butcher, Camille. Oke, kita cek ini mayatnya pelayannya ya, sarapannya.
Oh, he's dead. What the hell's been going on here?
Look under the mask. Coba.
Let's see what secret's hidden under these masks. His face doesn't ring a bell. I'm a bit disappointed.
Iya.
Might have expected more from Lord Mortimer.
Oke. Coba kita ya nggak apa-apa lah, berkorban. Oke.
Somebody smashed in the back of his head with something. He slowly bled to death.
Oh,
That
dipukul
hasn't
dari
killed
belakang.
him. They broke his neck.
Mengerikan. Apa yang kamu masukkan itu? Okay, with occult symbol. Oke,
Mother, if this is your doing, the situation is getting worse and worse.
Oke, baiklah. Dan kita harus
Well, the
katanya
gate is
dapat
locked.
occult key ini buat apa? Oke, kita harus kembali berarti ya. Jadi kita harus mau tidak mau ya, pertemuan besarnya lah, kayak konvensi pertemuan besarnya Lord Mortimer akan jika dimulai untuk mendiskusikan proyeknya ya. Dan kita mau tidak mau harus mewakili ibu kita ya untuk pergi ke konferensi. Oke, ini sebelumnya di sini nih susah banget. Oke, kalian bisa cek ya untuk puzzle-nya di link di bawah. Sambil promosi juga. Oke, sambil aku ingat-ingat pintunya di sini, saya ingatku. Oke, ini dia. Itu dia. Kalian bisa dari atas. Attend the conference. Konfrensi besar. Apa ini? Oh,
Christ
lukisan.
crucified by Velasquez.
Oh,
Look, someone's left a note there. Reserved for the Duke of Alquidia.
oh, udah dipesan.
The song of Roland. Roland feeleth his death is near. His brain is oozing by
Okay.
either ear. With his brain oozing, it's already remarkable that he can feel anything.
Sebelum saya buta map, di manakah konferensinya? Harusnya di lantai atas sih. Oke. Harusnya benar. Aku harus ke lantai atas. Oke. Baiklah. Apa harus berbicara dengan pelayan?
Mr. Dorishet, you are expected at the conference. Please take the door to your left to join the guests.
Oke. Left the door. Sini kah? Dan yang seperti dijelaskan oleh si George itu, ibu kita itu berjanji kepada Mortimer ya, berpihak pada Mortimer, seperti itulah. Apapun yang terjadi di konferensi nantinya katanya sih. Itu demi negara ini atau apa, mengerikan. Wow, desapnya yang seperti ini dong, ngeri kali. Aroma bau misterinya, perdebatannya, sejarahnya juga, dan terutama politiknya ini dapat ini. Oke, selesai. Harus bertemu Lord Mortimer ya, tapi sebelum itu aku harus putar-putar dulu lah, berbicara dengan orang-orang. Ini Sir Holmes. Sebelumnya permisi, aku mau cek
Fragment of amber.
fragment Amber, Prince of Amber. Apa sih, dapat 2 lagi. Oke, kita bicara dengan ini dulu.
My son, glad you're here. It seems Lord Mortimer's been waiting for you to arrive before beginning. What a pity your mother isn't here for the conference. I hope I'll be able to see her before I leave. I still have a very important letter to give to her.
Iya,
Feeling
itu.
all right, Louis? You look like you're miles away.
Everything's fine. Don't worry.
Lord Mortimer wants to talk to you, Louis. Don't make him wait.
Oke, baiklah. Emily ya? Iya, yang bersama ibu kita itu kemarin si Emma, kolektor koin lagi. Oke, kita coba Jack Sparrow yang diduga membunuh siapa? Elizabeth
I don't know if you
Adams.
ever found what you were looking for in the garden, but Mortimer is waiting for you. I suggest
Orangnya
we move on.
rogue ya.
You say
Terlihat
it as if
dasar.
you were afraid of him.
Oke,
Sense that you have things you'd
nggak
like to
pakai
say,
skill point.
but something's holding you back. What is going on between you two?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Hmm.
I believed in him. I followed him to the best of my ability. I championed his ideas, defended his decisions, and then, without even realizing it, I became lost. The siren's song, Monsieur de Richet. You wake up one morning, not knowing where you are, and you think about everything you've done for a man who wasn't even worth it. For a man who has no respect for you, who uses you, and who drops you as soon as he no longer needs you. For me, it's too late now. But you
Still have
you
choice.
still have a choice. Don't respond to his call, sir.
Mengerikan, siapa yang bilang? Dr. Mortimer kah? Katanya dia dijebak kayak gitu loh. Ya intinya seperti itulah ungkapan kata-katanya.
Will give me a little reprieve.
Camel water,
Golden elixir.
golden elixir buat menghealing capek saya. Apalagi ini Devil Thorn. Bentar. Oke, nggak ada. Kita bicara dulu dengan Sir Wall. Kok itu belum. Oh ini Walner sama Godoy.
Good evening, gentlemen. Are we ready? The much-awaited conference is about to begin.
That is what we have all been waiting for.
I believe that Lord Mortimer wishes to speak to you before it begins. You should go and see him.
Oke, baiklah,
Are you quite
tuan-tuan.
sure, sir? Is there not a little
Tunggu sebentar.
mistake somewhere?
Ini
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of water.
memiliki simbol water. Right key belum ada. Left key,
Your conjecture is totally wrong.
right key belum punya.
I have suspected you for some time.
Susah. Apalagi ada kode-kodenya itu.
Your desire.
Are you quite
Oke,
Is there not a little
oke, nggak ada apa-apa ternyata. Udah semua kok.
And he could not help answering her, but she said he didn't.
Alright, udah semua. Kita bicara dengan Dr. Mortimer dulu. Lord Mortimer. Kita akan mendiskusikan sebuah proyek besar.
Ah, Louis, I've been expecting you. Thank you for joining us.
Terutama politiknya
We are about to
sih.
begin our conference. Let me explain
Konfrensi
what is at
namanya.
stake.
Thank you kindly. But what do you expect of me exactly? My mother's the one who's supposed to attend, not me.
That is indeed what was initially intended. Unfortunately, she still hasn't been found, and my guests can't stay here indefinitely. The conference must begin, and it would be truly beneficial to the Order to join in the project. Consequently, I would like you to replace her
ingin
during her
mengajak
absence. What
proyeknya
is at stake
Golden Order.
here is of the utmost importance.
It's important that the French order gets their say. And should you need any advice, don't worry, you are not alone, Louis.
Very
Oke,
well.
terima kasih. Terus tanya tentang konferensi ini ya.
Can you give me a brief explanation of the aim of it all?
Of course, Louis, I was coming to that. The aim of these meetings is to bring together the most influential
Influential
people
people.
in order to think together about the future.
Oke.
The future of who?
Of the world, Louis.
Our desire
Dunia.
is to steer the destiny of our
Mengerikan.
respected countries for the good of all, and to no longer suffer the
Bicaranya
random
politik-politik
hazards of
demi
history.
masa depan dunia. Coba ini.
In concrete terms, how do you organize your discussions?
A conference is always organized the same way. There are two masters of ceremony who determine an important subject.
You and Sir Gregory, I presume.
Exactly. We shall
Okay.
be the masters of ceremony. It was our obligation to each bring to the table several guests in order to debate a subject. Once the debate is closed, a decision will be made by a vote of all the participants.
By a unanimous vote. If the project is not agreed on by all, then it will be rejected.
And neither of the two masters of ceremony have the right to vote.
It's up to the guests alone to decide, Louis. In other words, us.
Gregory and myself
Okay.
are merely the go-betweens. Finally, if the project is validated, each guest goes home and starts working
Tapi ini
to make it
seperti musyawarah sih
Take years.
konferensi ini. Tapi lebih oke, tanya berapa lama ini
How long
operasinya.
have you been active?
Oh, this tradition has more or less
Kita tanya
always
sepuas-puasnya
existed,
ya.
Louis. It has continued from generation to generation.
Oke. What major decision already orchestrated?
Can you give me an example of an event that was decided here before being implemented in the outside world?
Well, take the French Revolution.
Revolusi
It was decided
Prancis.
right here 2
Prancis,
years
French.
before its implementation in France.
Concerning the case of the French Revolution, I wasn't invited. But as far as the American Revolution is concerned, Louis, I can testify that we planned it 5 years before implementing it.
5 tahun ya sebelum mengimplementasinya. Oke.
Do you often hold this kind of society dinner?
In general, once a year, but in actual
Tahun
fact,
sekali.
it tends to be events that dictate our gatherings.
Perkumpulan para orang-orang penting ya. Oke. Sudah semua ya. Oke.
Louis, let me keep you a moment.
Baiklah.
I would like to let you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance. You see, the project I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in
Louisiana.
North America.
Amerika Utara.
It's currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French.
Coba. Aku nggak tahu apa.
But how does that concern me?
Well, you see, I prepared this project with your mother.
Oh,
We began thinking about a crazy
kan aku
idea.
nggak tahu sih. Bener.
Unfortunately, Sarah went missing before getting the bigger picture. I don't intend to stop at Louisiana. My idea is to increase the territory of the United States. The first stone of this vast project consists of
Memperbesar
getting Spain
area
to
wilayah
cede Louisiana to
Amerika.
France. Once it becomes
United
French,
States.
France will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their
Prancis
territory.
ya.
And that's where you come in. France and the United States, hand in hand. Two democracies illuminating the world.
Bukan Prancis dengan where does this project extend? Punya politik satu, coba.
Lord Mortimer, I'm sure you're aware that Louisiana is hardly prime quality land.
Karena
I
memiliki
would be
skill politik
exaggerating
ya, walaupun
to
dapat
call it
satu.
martial. How is acquiring land they won't know what to do with going to strengthen the United States?
Think further, Louis. The United States won't stop there. Once they've acquired Louisiana, nothing will stop them. All they would have to do then is keep pushing toward the west to take the whole North American continent.
Ini
So you intend to
projectnya.
get rid of the Spanish?
They are purely
Spanyol.
transitory. This is the settlers' home. It is natural for them to want to develop their nation to become one of the greatest powers of this world. As for the Spanish, there are just a handful of them actually on site, and if need be, we'll see to it that they are sufficiently occupied in Europe so
Yalah,
that their
berat
focus is not on
pembahasannya
the
ini.
North American continent. Moreover, Spain
Aku jelaskan
barely
secara
cares
rinci,
about its
singkat
colonies
saja
in
ya.
South America. It's hardly my fault if they're not capable of seeing the
Nanti di
potential
akhir video.
in the North American territories. The concept of royalties from bygone times. It is time to lead the way to democracy. Take a look at them. Apart from President Washington, they all belong to monarchies. Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project. I hope I can count on you, Louis. It's time to start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your thoughts.
Baiklah, siapa? Oke, kita mulai ini. Pembahasan
My
yang
friends,
sangat besar
I
sekali.
propose we get started.
Tuh aku jadi deg-degan sih. Ini seperti diriku ini. Orang yang nggak
First
tahu
of all,
apa-apa
I would
ini.
like to thank you for taking
Itu
the
bertahu
time to
proyek
come.
besar.
The honour is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us, Louis.
Welcome, Monsieur.
I hope he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The Order has proved particularly inefficient.
Come, Manuel, you're not going to spoil our visit. The Order's mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
We are talking about a king of divine blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed protecting. If the Golden Order wants to pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
Wujud saing lah. Soalnya katanya sih harus netral juga sih.
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer.
Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support
Anggap
each
saja
other
aku nggak tahu politik
more
lah.
now than ever before.
Aku diam dulu.
Dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer, but I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the east coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But, well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to
Aku
hear
fokus
what
banget ya.
Spain
Sorry.
could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians.
We shall soon be rid of the savages, so that is not the question.
Wah. They're not savage. Inilah.
These savages, as you call them, were there before you. They are on their homeland.
Mereka manusia biasa yang perang berandalan.
France from massacring them and sending them like cattle to Mr. Washington's cotton plantations to provide him with cheap labor. So you keep your morals to yourself, if you please.
Senor, I would not like to be associated with that. The subject of black slaves in the United States of America is a complex subject, which we shall resolve at a future date.
Okay. Ini aja.
It obviously doesn't stop you from sleeping at night.
Not in the least. Do not imagine I have anything against the
American
Indians or the blacks.
Imun.
That is not the question.
Oke, sudah mengetahui imun manual kota ya.
It is the natural order of things, Monsieur de Richet. There have always been men who govern other men. That is simply the way it is.
Gak apa-apa
And
sih.
it might as well be the likes of you who rule. Is that right?
But of course.
Come now, my friends. Let us not digress. Anyway, these primitive people have no souls, Louis. We bring the good word to them.
Wah, ini diskriminasi juga sih.
You'll see. Colonization brings with it many benefits too.
Padahal penduduk suku-suku itu dianggap tidak memiliki jiwa.
Duke Manuel, I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France free of charge.
This is utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer. What a strange example you set for your young protege. Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
Ini aja deh.
We are neighbors, Duke Manuel. Remember, your main rival in Europe is more likely to be England, who is plowing the seas right at your coastline. Hand over Louisiana to France and make her a prime
politik juga.
Come, Louis. Spain and Great Britain are already allies and have nothing to gain by breaking their alliance.
Even if I do agree, Duchess, the omnipresence of the English fleet in Atlantic waters does not particularly please me.
I must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me. I thought you were my friend.
And I am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States. I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies. I hope you know what you're doing.
Baiklah. Okay, validate.
Am I imagining things, or does it look like Washington isn't aware of Mortimer's plan?
Not to put too fine a point on it, Lord Mortimer, but I doubt the Holy See would be in favor of Catholic Louisiana being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
Ini aja deh.
On the maps of Italy, I saw Mortimer's secret study. He had anticipated movements of troops across Italy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's planning an invasion of Italy by
Tinggal
France.
2 royal jeliku
If
ya.
I push the notion
Harus kusimpan untuk konfrontasi. Mungkin nantinya susah.
Used for that purpose.
Konfrontasi.
The noose is tightening around poor Piaggi's neck without him even realizing it. I don't know if I'm the best person to speak about that, Your Eminence.
Ya benar. Claim not to know. Ini aja.
Honestly, Your Eminence, I really don't see it that way.
Mi auguro che insegnerete l'educazione a questo giovanotto presuntuoso, Sir Gregory.
Aku nggak ngerti apa yang dimaksudnya. Linguistik.
I hope that you will teach this pretentious young man some manners, Sir Gregory. It looks like I won't be just making friends here.
In any case, my lord, I doubt the English crown will
Ngatain
agree.
diriku dong. Ini pendeta Biagi. Aduh, ngomong-ngomong kayak gini dong. Menyembunyikan apa yang dimaksudnya itu.
Prussian will never accept this agreement.
Harusnya.
Volner looks like he's set on ruining Mortimer's plan.
Judges,
okay.
I am persuaded that we shall find a common ground.
That's enough, William. These are grave times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo. Lower the volume.
Royal Gigolo.
Let Sir Gregory finish.
Mengerikan sekali. Aduh. Oke. Opportunity.
Godoy and now Volner? Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos! That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me.
Aduh, udah berpisah, ada 2 kubu sekarang.
Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory, I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
Ada live with assistant atau stay with Mortimer. Tapi pilihannya untuk stay di Mortimer sebenar sih, karena untuk projectnya lebih besar ya. Menurutku lebih baik kita assist Mortimer ya, karena ibu kita juga kayaknya percaya dengan Mortimer sih, sepertinya. Oke.
As for me, I think I shall remain with Lord Mortimer, Sir Gregory.
You are committing a grave error, Louis.
Time will tell.
Oke. Loading. Itu perangnya bukan perang menyayat-nyayat ya, perang melalui politik. Mengerikan sekali. Dan aku pusing. Oke. Mungkin istirahat ya. Oke, ini berarti beberapa di pihak Mortimer ya.
Good God, William. What is
Presiden
this I hear about you reinforcing
Washington
military power
George.
in Louisiana? I have no interest in having France for a neighbor, and you know that very well.
Calm down, George. Louis, explain our plan to Mr. Washington, please.
Ini coba ini aja deh.
I would have been only too glad to, Lord Mortimer. Unfortunately, I'm not sure myself that I have fully understood all the details of your plan.
Ya benar.
Oh, Louis. President Washington, the United States will double in size.
By what miracle have you...
You need to expand, George. You and France are the 2 major democracies in the modern world. It is necessary that you both become superpowers.
Are you really going to sponsor democracy throughout the world?
Of course, Monsieur Peru. That's why I don't want Spain to get too attached to those weapons. Please continue, Louis. Explain my vision to Mr. President.
Logic.
Mr. President, Lord Mortimer intends for you to conquer all the North American continent. He's relying on you to not stop at Louisiana, but to continue to push west.
Indeed, it will be dishonest to pretend that this is not my final objective.
Masih ada lagi.
But why didn't you tell me before?
Ini aja, for spontaneous ini.
So that Lord Mortimer would appear to be isolated without support.
Exactly. You got it, Louis.
Lord Mortimer retains the advantage by advancing undercover. And for it to work, he needed you to act surprised.
William, you haven't changed. Always one step
ahead.
1 step ahead? You're joking.
Make
More
like
like
4.
5.
On that note, my friends, it's getting late. Mr. President, continue to take offense over my project when we resume the conference in the morning. You do it to a T. And if Sir Gregory has the audacity to send you an emissary to convince you to go against me, do me a favor. String him along if you can. The more they believe we are divided, the more we'll have our hands free.
Only too happy to oblige.
Now, let us get some rest. We've got a big day tomorrow. Good night, gentlemen.
Good
Baiklah,
night.
sudah malam nih konferensinya.
Louis, if you have a minute, I would like to ask a favor of you. I'm going to require your services.
How can it be of
Gimana?
help? Tell me.
Ada
about
apa?
it.
Our adversaries are many, and the closing vote of the conference will soon be upon us. Time is of an essence, so I'll need you to assist me this evening.
How can I help?
I need you to go this very evening to persuade Signor Godoy to join us. He is the backbone of Gregory's resistance. Turn him round, and all the others will follow in such a stampede that Gregory will be able to do nothing but admit defeat.
Lord Mortimer, with all due respect, don't you think I'm the last person Godoy wants to talk to?
I'm sure you can do it. I believe in you.
Waduh. Oke.
Lord Mortimer, you're not telling me everything.
Let's say I wouldn't disapprove if the Right Honourable, though nonetheless choleric, Duke Manuel put you in his bad books. If it could motivate him to declare war on France, it would greatly serve our interests.
War? What do you mean?
I told you before the conference. The more we distract Spain from the Americas, the less it will have an eye on Louisiana.
But all
Perebutan
the
wilayah
same,
Louisiana.
we're talking about a war in Europe.
Don't worry. That's why Mr. Bonaparte is with us. I am convinced we'll be perfectly capable of managing the conflict.
Terjadi perang
And
juga
Senor
sih.
Godoy is not a great soldier. He will not commit Spain to a long war that he won't be capable of managing.
I'll go straight away.
Thank you, my boy. And
Thank you,
get
my
some
boy.
rest afterwards. Big day tomorrow.
Mau gimana lagi? Pusing sekali. Jadi sambil ku jelaskan sedikit ya, projectnya si Lord Mortimer itu ingin expand lah, ingin melebarkan wilayah Amerika Serikat lah, United States lah, dan setelah itu menyebarkan asas demokrasi lah, seperti itu. Dan ini kan masih di zaman Renaissance, di mana sistem hierarki ya, tingkat raja, duk itu masih dijalankan lah, seperti itu kan. Kemudian ingin dirubah menjadi demokrasi, kan sesuatu yang besar lah, seperti itulah. Demokrasi kan kebebasan hak berpendapat lah, seperti itu. Kayak di Indonesia, untuk mengubah sesuatu semacam itu kan butuh waktu yang cukup lama. Jadi ini menyarankan kita harus mengekspansi atau memperbesar wilayahnya, dengan yang pertama-tama wilayahnya yang harus dikuasai adalah Louisiana, seperti itulah. Tapi Louisiana itu berada di wilayah Spain, bukan Spain atau apa ya, Paris, French ya, seperti itulah. Oke,
Aren't you afraid
kita
our projects for
tanya
Italy
dulu.
may be discovered before we... please excuse us, Louis, but I need to speak with Lord Mortimer in private.
No. What do you want, Louis?
Cuma tanya dia, some advice.
I'm going to have a word with Duke Manuel, but you know him better than I do, I believe.
Yes. Avoid any marks of respect and protocol pertaining to his rank. He's not fond of courtly manners.
Thank you for the advice, my lord.
Oke. Terus ini.
When are we supposed to vote?
The conference resumes tomorrow morning. That leaves little time for the little favor I spoke to you about.
Indeed.
Oke.
I'll go straight away.
Dan ku jelaskan sedikit ini ya, tentang
I shall be leaving.
sistem musyawarahnya ya, atau konferensinya ya, dimana konferensinya itu si Dr. Mortimer itu mengajukan suatu ide atau saran, yaitu tadi untuk mengekspansi seperti itu, dan akibatnya banyak yang di sisi yang menolak, pro dan kontra lah, seperti itulah. Dan setelah itu kan kita harus melakukan voting seperti itu, voting besok pagi lah, sambil ini istirahat dulu.
Four-letter word could open this chest.
Nggak tahu itu dapat dari mana kata-katanya, nggak tahu. Nanti votingnya besok pagi, untuk final decisionnya itu mengadakan voting. Oke, seperti itu. Dan Oke, baiklah, kita turun dulu dan sudah 40 menit juga. Oke, ya mungkin cukup sekian dulu untuk video kali ini ya. Jadi ya cukup panjang juga sih, dan sudah aku jelaskan tadi ya. Dan kita harus mempersuasi ini ya, si Manuel Godoy untuk join ke pihaknya si pro, ke idenya si Dr. Mortimer ya, seperti itulah. Dengan si Manuel Godoy itu kita berpihak kepada kita atau join ke Mortimer, nanti yang lainnya juga akan ikut ya, karena yang pro kan Dr. Mortimer, yang kontra ini kan Sir Gregory ya, Holmes Gregory, atau teman dekatnya si ini, si Dr. Mortimer ya. Ya seperti itulah kurang lebihnya ya. Kalau kalian lebih tahu mengenai ini, kalian bisa tulis di kolom komentar lah sambil berbagi ilmu lah, seperti itulah. Oke. Ya, terima kasih sudah menonton video gameplay kali ini. Mohon dukungannya dengan mengklik like, share, dan subscribe, dan jangan lupa komen ya mengenai gameplay ini, mengenai channel ini, atau rekomendasi game-game dari kalian ya. Oke, terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Bye bye.